Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Msa and today I will be showing you how to create this 100% drugstore makeup look. I have to say I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. I had a concept for it, but sometimes you never really know until you get the full look together, and honestly I'm really surprised. I think this is my new favorite makeup look. So yeah, I'm gonna go through the products that I really liked in more depth towards the end of the tutorial. So keep on watching for that, and I hope that this serves as a guide to you the next time you go drugstore shopping. I have to say I was really proud to see the progress we've made in terms of drugstore products, because when I look back to maybe about 10 years ago when I was quite new in the UK, there wasn't a lot out there, especially for darker skin tones. I remember I only ever went to MAC, and I think I used to use Mary Kay, and that was about it. But now at least I can find loads more foundations in my shade range. Yeah, contours for example, that's fantastic. That was just never seen. So this is a celebration of drugstore makeup, but also a bit of a call to action, because there is still some gaps here in the market that I think makeup brands need to look at so that everybody has as much choice. So anyways, if you want to learn how to create this look, please keep on watching and stay tuned right at the end when I go through my review of some of the products I thought were worth talking about in more detail. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to go in and pop some concealer onto my upper eyelids. I'm using the LA Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Fawn. And I'm going a lot brighter than what I usually would. And this is because I'm using a very skin toned shade on my eyelids. So the brighter you go, the more the colors are going to stand out. Now I'm going in with a Crown C457 brush, and I'm just using that to blend out the color all over my eyelid. Focus, focus. Okay, so Revolution baking powder in Banana Deep, and I'm just using that on a nice fluffy brush just to set my eyelids, and that will just stop any creasing from the eyeshadows that we put down. So using a MAC 224, I'm going to go in with the shade Try Me into my crease. And initially with this palette, I wasn't so sure about it, because initially it seemed that the pigmentation wasn't quite as intense as, say, a Morphe palette or Huda Beauty, for example. But the more I played with it, the more I got to like the colors better. And I think for me, because I'm dark skinned, having a lighter base just really helps with the colors to pop a little bit more. Then I'm going in with the St. Patricia Bright face palette. This is Dusk Till Dawn, and I'm just using, sorry, it's this side, this highlighter shade, the gold shade, as my underbrow highlight. And this is the MAC 221 brush, which is a great blush when you just want to highlight a small area. And once that color is on, I'm going to go back in again with that transition shade, just to try and blend those two colors together. So next for the lid, I'm using the color Biggest Fan. I'm using the Crown SS011 shader brush to just pack the color onto my eyelids. And I'm just creating a nudish kind of an eye. So you want a color that is just like, well, lighter than your skin tone. This is quite a few shades lighter, but it's just because I wanted my eyelids to really pop. Then with the MAC 217 brush, I'm going in with the shade Irreplaceable, which is a dark brown shade, and I'm just putting that just on the outer part of the crease and blending that up towards the eye, and it just nicely defines the crease. I'm also putting some on the outer third of my upper eyelid, and you're creating like a V shape just to smoke it out. And I'd recommend just building this up slowly, because it looks nicer the more blended it is. I'm going in again with another 217 brush using the shade Brown Sugar, and that is to blend like the dark brown shade with the nude shade on my eyelids. So I'm just popping that just in between, just so you have a nice transition between the dark to this light shade, and also on the edge of that brown as well, and just blending that towards the crease. and just go back and forth with these two steps, putting the darker color on and blending it out with the lighter brown color, just to get it as smoky as you want. So once I was happy with how the colors all looked, I went back in with the MAC 224 brush that I used to put down my transition color, and I'm just using that to blend that in again so everything looks seamless. Now I'm going in with the NYX Epic ink liner to create my wing. I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this liner because if you don't put the cap on right, the tip just sort of, it splays out. It no longer stays nice and sharp, but I like that it's really black. So I'm just gonna do my wing tip first and then connect it up with my eye. Okay, for my lashes, I'm going in with the Eyelure Dramatic in number 202. I'm going to pop these on off camera. So lashes are done. Let's move on to the face. So I'm going to start off first of all with primer, and I'm using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop primer. And ever since I started using this primer, I don't reach for my Becca primer anymore. I honestly think this is just as good. So this has been a great drugstore find. Just gonna move this back a little bit since I'm gonna be doing my face. So I'm going with a bronzer. This is by the Superdrug B range. I believe this is in the shade Dark. And I picked it up thinking I was going to use it as a face powder, but it was way too light. But I found another use for it. I simply just pop a beauty blender onto it, and I'm putting it onto my nose just to control the oil in this area. I think for somebody who was, I don't know, of Asian heritage or mixed race, and this bronzer would probably be perfect color, but it is definitely not a bronzer for me. Then I'm going to go in with my foundations. I'm using the Max Factor Facefinity foundations in this shade Warm Chocolate and Hazelnut. I couldn't quite find my exact shade, so I'm just mixing them. I actually really like this. It's meant to be a 3-in-1 foundation. So it's got in it, what does it say? Primer, concealer and foundation. It's got a beautiful finish. I will have to use it with a primer because I think it's meant for people with sort of normal skin, normal to dry, so it can get a bit luminous as the day wears on, but with the right primer, putting the powder on, it controls my oil pretty well. And again, I am going a lot lighter with this foundation color than my actual skin tone. It's just to counteract the hyperpigmentation between my face and the rest of my body. Yeah, I'm feeling like an Oompa Loompa right now. I don't remember it being this red when I last wore it, but anyway, I'll make it work. I just realized my camera was off and I wasn't recording. So all I did was I went in with a bit more of the Fawn concealer under my eyes just to make it a lot brighter. And I'm just blending everything out before I set it all. Anyway, I'm going to set the areas I don't want to crease first of all, just with that same Makeup Revolution loose powder in the deep, what's it called? Banana Deep shade. And I just go back in and smooth underneath my eye, just to get rid of any lines. Then very quickly set with that powder so it does not move. Setting my smile lines as well so that they don't crease. And for any smaller areas, I just go in with a fluffy blending brush. So now I'm going to go in with the L'Oreal Infallible Stick Foundation in the shade Espresso. I'm going to use this to contour. And it's so nice to see shades like this because this is actually a foundation stick. Because people darker skinned than me and people of my skin tone were just excluded from drugstore makeup. So it's just so nice when you go shopping to find shades like this because I would have never found a contour shade. Just doing my chin as well. I'm not going to do my forehead area because I've got a scarf on, so it's kind of pointless. Now the thing is, when you try and blend with the beauty blender, it will share out your product a little bit. So you might just have to go back in and add more product to get it as intense as you want it to be. I'm going to set the rest of my face using the Makeup Revolution loose powder in deep dark. The only thing about these is that they have a very, very small lid, so it's very difficult when you put product in there to get your brush in there. That's my only criticism about this. Initially, when I got this powder, I was a bit worried about the shade because when you swatch it, it looks a bit ashy, but it's so cool that when you actually put it on your face, it's the perfect shade. So I've been really, really happy with this one. So what I'm actually doing is I'm putting it on a palette because it's just a lot easier to work with than in the lid of the pan. So just setting all those areas where there's foundation and contour. I'm just going in super lightly first of all, and then I'm going to buff it out in a minute. And then I'm just squeezing my brush, going either side of my nose. So I'm going back in with the Patricia Bright palette in that bronzer color. Just dropped my palette. Anyway, I'm using a Real Techniques contour brush and I'm just accentuating the contour that I already put down in cream. And to be honest, this was pretty much my only choice of contour in the drugstore. But this week, I just found out that Makeup Revolution are bringing out an entire new shade range of... This week I found out that Makeup Revolution are bringing out more bronzers for dark skin, and the colors look really deep. So I'm so excited about this because it's just nice to have more choice, because when I was getting ready to shoot this makeup look, the one thing that I noticed there was a lack of was bronzers and setting powders for dark skin. Like literally, this was my only option on the drugstore. Well, in the shop really. There are some online, but it's really hard to buy powders online because you just can't tell if it's going to suit your skin tone. So we've come a long way with drugstore makeup for dark skin, which I'm really happy about, but we still have got a ways to go. Okay, now I'm going to complete the rest of my eyes. I'm going in with this L'Oreal, it's called the Lay Liner, I think it's called. It's in the color turquoise. So I'm going to pop this on the waterline and my lower lash line. When I swatched this color, I just loved the shade, and also I like the fact that when I swatched it, I came home, I washed my hands and it didn't come off. So I think it is truly waterproof and it is very, very long lasting. So I'm going to put this on the my waterline. What I do is I just use that same beauty blend I used to apply concealer to just pull my lower eyelid down, and then I'm just going to draw it onto my waterline, and then I'm going to put some on the lower lid itself. I'm going to quickly go in with the teal shade from the Patricia Bright palette. This is a Risk Taker, and I'm using a smudge brush. I'm putting that onto the color to set it, and you want to do this quickly before it's set, so that you can blend it out a bit. And I find this is a great way if you're a bit scared of color and you don't want to commit to it all of your eyelid, just put a pop of it on your lower lash line or your waterline, and it just lightens up a look. I love this teal shade, it's beautiful. Then I'm going in with the shade Extra AF, just on a really small detailer brush. This brush is also by Real Techniques. I'm loading up the brush, and then I'm spraying it with some setting spray just to intensify it. And I'm just going to put some of that on the lower lash line just to brighten it up in the inner corner. Oh, this is such a beautiful shade. So I'm going to highlight my face using this Sleek Face Foam highlighter. It's a really old school product, but it's never failed me. It really is a great highlighter. And I'm using just the MAC 224 brush for this, just on all the high points of my face and on the Cupid's bow. And because I don't really do much of a contour on my nose, I'm just going to reverse contour. So you just put on highlighter just on the areas you want to stand out, and with dark skin it will naturally create a shadow for you anyways, and I find that that just stops those very harsh contour lines. It just, yeah, not for me. But if that's your thing, do your thing. Just do you. Makeup is all about self-expression, so do your thing. So I found this really great lip liner by Max Factor called Brown and Bold, which I was really excited about because, again, I found there's just a lack of nice, rich, dark brown lip liners in the drugstore. It's mostly pinky red plums. You don't see a lot of browns, and if you're dark skinned, you just need a good dark brown pencil. It's like your everyday essential. This has quite a lot of red in it, and I really like that. It's, for me, it's just change from my usual MAC Chestnut, and I've been using this almost every day since I bought this, so I highly recommend this one. And for the center of my lips, I'm going to go in with a NYX pencil. It's the Suede Matte Lip Liner in the color London. So I'm going in with a L'Oreal Lake Chocolate Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick, and this is in the shade Ginger Bomb. It really does smell like chocolate. So I decided it's looking a bit too matte, so I'm going to add a gloss, and this is All My Gloss by Rimmel in the shade, hang on, Down to Gloss. That's better. Okay, because my face is just about done, I'm just going to very gently pull this down. I'm going to go back in with the shade Try Me from that same eyeshadow palette that I've been using. And I'm using a Crown C522 brush for this. Just for a nice orange flush on my cheeks. I'm feeling snatched. This is my new favorite makeup look. New favorite. It's time to set with my NYX matte finishing spray. Okay, so the look is done and I'm really happy with it. I don't know about you, but when you just have a really good makeup day, I just sit there staring at it in the mirror, just going, check myself out. And you don't want to take it off. It's probably about 9, I think it is. It's 9:15 here at the moment. And I'm just sad that I just have to take this makeup off and I have nowhere to go. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed watching this and I hope you learned something. So what I'm going to do now is just go through my thoughts on some of these products, just to serve as, just to give you an idea of what to expect if you decide to purchase them. So the first one is the Patricia Bright collaboration with Makeup Revolution. This is, as I mentioned before, the Rich in Life palette. And looking at it, looking at all the colors you get for, I think this cost about £20 or so. I'll list it down below. I think it's quite good, and what I like about this palette is obviously you've got, you know, black, you can create smoky eye looks, you've got neutrals, and then you've got the colorful shades, and honestly that turquoise shade that I've used on my lower line, loved it. I think the things to be aware of with this palette is that for some shades the pigmentation isn't as intense as I was expecting, so just use a lighter primer color on your eye area if you're dark or as darker than me. For the shimmer shades, some of them require you to moisten your brush, so load up your brush with the product and then spray it, and then you'll get the intensity that you're looking for. But all in all, I think it's a pretty good product and well worth it, so well done, Patricia. This is really, really good. And then the other products I was really happy about were these setting powders by Makeup Revolution. I think they only retail for about £5 for each one, and you get a lot of product that's going to last you a long time. I was very happy with the quality of it, and especially this. This was the only one that I could find for, in terms of setting powders for my skin shade in the Superdrug that I went to. So this is just proving to you we need more choice, because this was it from the whole of all the different brands that were there. So I'm so glad that I found this, otherwise I wasn't sure what I was going to do. But this is great. It looks fantastic on the skin. As I said, it swatches a little bit grey, but when it goes on, it just looks fantastic. And obviously this is really, really good for the under eye setting and just wherever you want to highlight on your face. So for £5, I don't think you can go wrong. These are really, really good. And then moving on to foundations by Max Factor. Again, I was really happy when I discovered these. I love how thick it is because it is a concealer and foundation and apparently a primer as well. I can't say it's my longest wearing foundation. This probably lasts me a good maybe 6 to 7 hours, and I do find I do get a bit shiny on my T-zone. So if you've got oily combination skin, make sure you use a heavy duty primer, otherwise you're going to be shining a lot. But pretty good. And just to see shade range, I remember when Max Factor it did not cater to dark skin at all. So this was a lovely surprise to discover this foundation. So thank you, Max Factor. Obviously my shade is in between these two, so a bit of a shade extension would also be very, very welcome. But I think this is a great foundation. Can't go wrong with this one. And then this, the Maybelline Instant Age Eraser. I think it used to be called Rewind or something like that. And I remember this was only available in the States and people used to rave about this concealer and I wanted to try it so badly. So to finally go into a drugstore and find it, yay, I was so excited. And it's really good. I love the coverage. I love that it's medium, but it's buildable. It blends beautifully. It doesn't crease. And yeah, you still get quite a lot of product. I think this was like $5 or $6.99. Anyway, I'll link it down below, but this is a great concealer. The other thing I didn't mention was I also bought this shade, and this is in the shade Mahogany. You can see how, I don't know if you can appreciate that on there. Hang on. Sorry. This shade is really, really orange, and this is fantastic as a color corrector, and I have used it as a color corrector. So yeah, these are really, really good. Thank you, Drugstore. It's nice to see these products. And then this is probably one of my other favorite finds, this lip liner by Max Factor in Bold and Brown. This is now a staple in my lip liner collection. Everyone needs a good brown lip liner because it goes with pretty much any color, and you can see, just look at this lip. If I didn't have this lip liner, I'd be looking like a clown because this color is quite bright for my skin tone, so the lip liner just calms it down. It's creamy, it's long wearing, and yeah, I was really impressed with this. But I think again, in terms of drugstore makeup, we need more rich dark brown lip liners for people with dark skin. And then this lay liner from L'Oreal, I was really pleasantly surprised. I just saw the color, but it's so long lasting, it's vibrant, it's creamy, it's easy to apply, and I mean, just look at it. I think this speaks for itself, my new favorite. And they do have lots of other colors as well, so I think these are worthwhile picking up, and I think I will go back for some more colors. And I think, was that it? Yeah. And last product was this stick foundation. I don't think I've reviewed it yet, by L'Oreal Infallible, the shade Espresso. And these are great. I use it for contouring, but obviously if this was your skin tone, you can use it all over your face. It is very creamy, so I think this will probably suit people with drier skin tones. Yeah, and that's also one reason I don't put it on my nose to contour, because I would just be beaming. But yeah, really, really good, and I'm so glad to see this shade. So I think that is about it for the products I wanted to review. Thank you so much for watching this video, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and do let me know if there's any other videos you would like me to create. I'm excited for my next makeup look. All right, take care guys, have a great day, bye.